Hey, what's up guys, hope you're doing well. I'm Asis from AJ Technofreak, and in today's video I have got the brand new DJI Ronin RS4. It's been a while that I have had this gimbal, but I was completely new to the gimbal world, like the heavier one that goes with the mirrorless camera. I already own the DJI OM4, which you can use with your phone, but having used that gimbal and coming to the Ronin RS4, it's a totally different thing. You have got to learn the completely new curve whenever you are trying to use your RS4. So in this video today, we will be setting this thing up, and I'll guide you step by step on how you'll be able to set this thing up and how you'll be able to get the best experience whenever you're using your RS4. So I'm still on the learning phase on how to get the best experience, but some of the things took me a while. That's the reason why I had to delay my video, and just giving like a wrong information doesn't make sense to me. So that's the reason why I took my time and got to learn a little bit about the gimbal. And I'll also be showing you how you will be able to balance this gimbal because of that Teflon coating that's on the new RS4, and it makes it so much more easier to balance this gimbal. We'll walk through this together, and I'll also be talking about the new features that has been added on the DJI RS4, comparing that to the older generation. So without any further ado, let's get into the unboxing and we'll go from there. Alright, so here is the box that it comes in, DJI RS4 Combo. So this one includes a couple of additional things which you don't get in the regular DJI RS4. So you get the focus motor, which works for zoom as well as for focusing. I think DJI is probably one of the best when it comes down to gimbals. So I went with the DJI RS4 Combo. And there is also like a pro version which costs like 1300 Australian dollars or something. This one would cost you around $1000, and I also ended up getting the extended warranty, I think for 3 years from JV Hi-Fi, which cost me $199. So anything happens in that period, they would replace it and give me a brand new one. So I think it will be able to hold like 3 kilograms of weight of your camera. So anything above that, you need to go into the Pro model, which will be able to hold a lot more weight than this gimbal would do. But 3 kilograms, I think that's more than enough for most people, unless you have got a really heavy camera or the lens. And feels really high quality bag, and you don't have to worry about damaging your gimbal whenever you're carrying it around. So there is your gimbal. I'll leave that aside for now. And you have got your usual manual for your DJI RS4. And let's see the accessories. Grip, I guess, that's for your gimbal. You also have got the focus motor rod, I guess. That's for the focus motor. And here is your battery grip. So it will be able to run for 12.5 hours or something, and you also have got like the battery grip, which will extend the battery life to 29 hours, I believe. And this is your focus motor with 2 USB-C, and here is your plate for your gimbal and the camera, and this is your tripod. There you go. Really nice, grippy, and feels really premium as well, as you would expect from a company like DJI. So that's all for the accessories here. Let's move on to this side. That's for the focus motor. So that's the belt that's gonna go on whenever you are using your focus motor. Here are your cables. 2 USB-C to USB-C and 1 USB to USB-C. So that's all for the accessories for your RS4. And here is the gimbal itself. So it's strapped in place really well. So while the battery is charging, let's look onto our gimbal. So they have got a new coating on the top of the DJI RS4 series that's called Teflon, which will basically make it easier to slide around whenever you're adjusting your gimbal. So I really appreciate that, because with the RS3, when I tried it, it tends to be really hard to slide it around. So hopefully with that Teflon coating, it's gonna be easier to slide in and then adjust your gimbal as per your need. So I think that's a welcoming feature on the Ronin RS4. So here is our battery grip. It shows the battery percentage over here just like that, and here is your charging port over here, USB Type-C. You take the tripod, you screw that in place, goes on just like that, and here is your plate where your battery grip is gonna go. You just put the thing on lock and then slides into place, and now you can lock your switch, and in order to release it you just press this button and now it's gonna come off. There you go. So I can definitely feel it's a little bit easier, but I don't know, we should try it with the camera to see how well this thing, like the Teflon coating, actually works. But let me remove the film here. Yeah, it's a lot smoother. So I don't know if it's gonna be the case after I put on the camera, but I can definitely feel that there is very less resistance compared that to the RS3. So I basically dismounted everything so that I can show you how you will be able to set up your gimbal. So it's gonna come like this in the bag, and you have got like separate parts which go in a particular way. So the first thing is the battery. So this is how it's gonna come. So you basically make sure the pin is lined properly on the bottom over here, and then you slide your battery grip from the bottom, and then once you hear the click, make sure that you lock the switch into lock mode. The next thing is the tripod, which is just gonna screw on the bottom just like that. So that makes it so much more convenient to carry around if you have to dismantle everything and then take it like that. And the next thing I want to do is this is the grip handle. So it will basically give you like additional support whenever you are working with heavier rigs. So I didn't have this one attached and my arms was pretty tired after a while, so I would highly suggest you to use this one. You just have to loosen this thing up and then it will slide from the bottom, and now you lock it. Your handle mount is ready. So it just gives you that additional support that you need to carry heavier rigs. And the next thing is the plate over here. So this plate is the part that's gonna hold your camera. So it's gonna go on this side over here on the top. So it can go only one way. So you basically have to toggle this thing to the unlock mode, and you press the button over here and then slide your plate in, and it goes all the way in. Now it's not gonna come out unless you press that button. So there's safety feature as well, just to prevent your camera from falling off. So once that's in, you lock it, and now it's not gonna go anywhere. You can also use the dial on the side to move this around just like that. So that is all done. Now the next part is going to be attaching this attachment. So this is the part that's gonna go on the bottom of your camera. I have got this Canon EOS RP with the 24-105. It's pretty heavy lens and the camera is lighter, but let's see how it will actually perform with the heavier lens. So just screws on the bottom. You have got the plate over here. Just attach it on the bottom and it's nice and secure. So the next thing is gonna be putting your camera on the gimbal. So the way you do that is there's a lock switch over here on your gimbal, as you can see. So you basically put it in the unlock mode and then slide your camera in place. So you press the button over here right on the side, and then you slide your camera in place. Now it's not gonna go anywhere unless you press the button and take your camera out. So that's kind of a safety feature. So there you go, attach it and then put that switch back to lock mode. Now your camera is nice and secure. So the main thing to keep in mind whenever you're shooting with the 24-105 or the lens with variable zoom features, if you are extending your lens, then you need to rebalance your gimbal. You can't be using the same like balanced gimbal setting with all different kinds of length. So let's move on to the next thing that's gonna be balancing the gimbal. So in order to do that, you have to work with different kinds of axes. To balance the gimbal, first of all you have to put everything in unlock mode. So we're gonna start from the top all the way to the bottom. You basically have a switch on the top over here. You unlock that first and then put it in lock mode. There you go. And then unlock the next axis and then put it in lock mode. So that's how your gimbal should actually look. So first things you want to do to balance the gimbal is adjust the tilt axis. So basically you unlock the switch on the side of the arms over here, and then you put your camera like this, and your camera lens has to face up without moving from side to side. So in order to do that, you want to make sure that this knob over here is loose. So you move it around just like that, and then slide this camera from side to side in order to make sure that your tilt axis is balanced. So you can see the numbers over here, and with that Teflon coating, it makes it so much more smoother whenever you are trying to balance your gimbal. So you just push it side to side unless you find a point where your camera lens is facing upwards. It's going this way, so I want to push it a little bit further away. So take your time on this. So as you can see, there you go. So that's the spot. Once you find the spot where the camera lens is facing up, you just tighten the screw and the tilt axis is balanced. So next thing is gonna be adjusting your camera on this way. So as you can see, the camera is going downwards. So in order to balance that, the next step is gonna be locking this switch over here, and then use this dial over here to make sure that your camera is not moving front or back. So you twist the knob. So as you can see, it's going down, so I want to move it a little bit backwards. So there you go. Still going forward. Still going forward. Now going back. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to align it. There you go. So I think that's the spot I want to keep it in. And then hold the camera and lock your camera. So now you can see whichever angle you put the camera, it's not gonna go from side to side. So that's how you know your gimbal is balanced on the tilt axis. So once you're happy with that one, you put your tilt axis into lock mode, and now we'll move into the next one. That's gonna be the roll axis. So the roll axis is gonna be over here. So here is the switch. You basically put it into unlock mode and then slide your camera from side to side so that you find that perfect angle. So in order to do that, you want to make sure that you have got the unlock mode on. Just put your arms around so that your camera doesn't fly out, just like that. So as you can see, it's rolling on the other end. So what you want to do is push it on the opposite direction until you find a spot where it's gonna be right in the middle. So take your time, go nice and slow. So it's going this way. I want to push it a little bit on that way. So whatever is happening, you go the opposite direction. So when your camera comes right in the middle every time, that's how you know your camera is balanced on the roll axis. So once you're happy with that, you want to put your lock mode on and then flick the switch, and it's gonna lock in place. So the last thing to balance is gonna be the pan axis. So that's the bottom plate over here. So in order to do that, same thing again, put that pan motor to the unlock position, and you want to make sure that you tilt your camera like this on the other end and balance the gimbal over here. So I think it's already balanced for my previous camera, but if it's going on either direction, you have a switch over here. You put it into unlock mode and then try to find the spot when your camera gimbal is tilting forward, and then you push your bar like this to find that spot where it sits right in the middle. So let me do that. I think that should be good. So once that is adjusted, you put that thing in lock mode. So in order to check before you turn your gimbal on, just unlock all the motors, the switches, and then once you do that, if you put your camera in any direction, it should stay in place. So that's how you know your gimbal is properly balanced. Now let's turn the gimbal on. You have got the switch over here. You keep pressing that. and you are ready to shoot. That's how you will be able to balance your DJI RS4. Just wanted to show you because it took a lot of time for me to figure out how everything works, and I had to look into a lot of manuals as well as videos. Even though there are like a lot of videos, it's really hard to explain unless you do it yourself. So it took me like around 2 to 3 days just to figure out how to properly balance my gimbal. So once you have got your gimbal balance, we can move into the next step. But this is a really crucial part, because if your gimbal is not properly balanced and you start shooting, it might drain your battery like heavily and can put a lot of stress on your motors. So just take your time on when you're balancing your gimbal, just to get the best experience and the best out of your DJI RS4. Now let's quickly look into some of the functions of the DJI RS4 gimbal. So this is the screen that you're gonna be interacting with. It's touch screen, and you have got your battery indicator on the top right hand side. And let's move on with the first one, which is gonna be for balancing your gimbal. So as you can see, you press that button and you can see different axes: tilt, roll and pan axis. And if you want to calibrate your gimbal before starting to shoot, then you can do that. So you press start calibration and it's gonna balance itself. So it's just like fine-tuning your gimbal. Next one is gonna be this one. So this is gonna show you whether there is any deviation on the gimbal which you need to adjust. So as you can see, it's right in the middle, but once you move it around, you can see the green bars moving side to side. So if it's right in the middle, you know that it's properly balanced. And you have got like your modes over here. So currently it's on FPV mode, and in FPV mode you can also choose 360 roll. So if you look at the camera, it's gonna change its position to 360. So you can basically capture like 360 content, and as you move your joystick, it's gonna do that 360 roll to give you that 360 video whenever you're using your gimbal. Next is gonna be custom. You can choose your custom setting if you want. Like if you want tilt, roll or pan, you can do that. That's on the custom mode. So that's the FPV mode. Moving on, if you want to change your modes, then you can do that on the side over here. So it's currently on FPV. If you want to change to pan follow, you can do that. You also have got the pan, tilt and follow. So if you have got it in pan follow mode, as you can see, you have basically got like side to side. The camera is not gonna tilt forward and backward. And with the pan, tilt and follow mode, all the axis is gonna be unlocked, and whether you move it from side to side or front to back, it's gonna move accordingly. So that are all the modes that's available on the RS4. And you have also got the speed of how quickly the motors follow whenever you are trying to move your gimbal from side to side. So it's currently set to medium. If you want to shoot like really slow b-rolls and stuff, you can set it to slow. I usually shoot it in slow. And if you're shooting like something like a fast pace, then you can change the follow speed to fast pace. And you can also choose your custom speed if you want. So I'll usually shoot on slow unless I'm shooting like something like running people or any kinds of sports thing. Then you want to set it to fast mode. Moving on, if you drag it from the top, you have got different settings over here. So the first one is gonna be your display. So you have got all of the settings which you can play with, rotation and brightness and everything. If you want to change that, you can do that here. And if you want to connect your camera with the gimbal, then this is the setting for that. That will allow you to use the features like start or stop recording and all different kinds of features. You will be able to use it with the help of the Bluetooth Connect on the RS4. Moving on, the next one is gonna be the focus motor. So I have got the combo edition, so it comes with the focus motor, as you can see over here. So I'll show you how you will be able to use that later in the video, but for now let's move on to the next thing. That's gonna be for the settings. So here is the disable selfie. If you want to disable that one, you also have got the orbit follow, auto lock, silent mode if you want to shoot in silent without any kinds of like sounds. You also have got push mode, so push pan or push tilt, you can choose that. You also have got the horizontal calibration if you want to calibrate your horizontal axis on your gimbal. You also have got the gimbal auto lock, so it will basically lock the gimbal onto one spot once you press the button on the back, or if you keep holding it, you will be able to lock your gimbal. and all the settings are over here. And if you want to update your gimbal, then you can do through the app, which I'll show you in a while. So that's all for the settings of the gimbal. Now let's move on to the phone and connect my phone with the RS4, and then we'll go from there. So this is the app that you'll be using to interact with your RS4. This is called the Ronin from DJI. I don't think it's available in the Play Store. I think it should be available on the Apple Store. But for this one, you need to go into the website and download the APK and then install it that way. So you have got different options over here. So if you go over here, you can see all of the settings, device list and firmware. You can update your firmware for the RS4 through the phone app. So for now, I will basically set that settings here to DJI RS4 and connect to gimbal. So as you can see, it popped out over here. So press that one, and the default password is gonna be 1234567 You can change that later if you have to. So gimbal connected to Ronin, connected Ronin to DJI via Wi-Fi to use Ronin. So if you have got a Ronin, it will allow you to make your phone as a monitor, and you can use it that way. Like if you don't want to be buying like additional monitor for your camera, you can use a Ronin, which I think I'll leave for the next video, because it has got like its own settings which you have to learn. It's just gonna be a long video if I include that on this video. So I have already purchased my Ronin just to use the monitor function for the RS4, because it makes it so much more convenient to use my phone because of that high quality display. So I'll leave that for the next video, but as you can see, it's already connected. So if I click the button over here that says create and virtual joystick, you can use your joystick from your phone and you will be able to control your gimbal that way. And you can also change different kinds of settings. It gives you a lot more option than the option that you get with this small tiny screen. So you can also choose the smoothness and you can adjust this accordingly. And you also have got the force mobile, so that will basically allow you to control your gimbal with the help of the gyroscopic sensor on your phone. So if I enable force mobile here, so now if I move the camera after enabling this option over here, I can control the movement of the gimbal just by moving my phone around. So as you can see, it's pretty accurate. As soon as I move my phone, it tends to follow wherever I choose to move my phone. So that's pretty amazing. Like if I don't want to be using the joystick, I can use my phone and it will be able to follow wherever I want it to follow. And once you double tap on the top, it's gonna go to its original settings. Moving on, you also have got the panorama option. So please connect dedicated cable to the RSS port for this feature. So you basically need the Ronin, the device that will allow you to see the visuals on your phone, and then you can use this panorama feature on your phone. You also have got the time-lapse option over here. Same thing here, you need to have the Ronin to use that feature. You also have got the tracking feature that also works with the Ronin. So that's pretty important. If you are picking up the gimbal, I would highly suggest you to invest on that gadget too. That's from DJI as well. I think I paid around 160 Australian dollars or something. Pretty expensive, but once you get that one, you don't need the monitor, you don't need to invest on any other product. You also have got the gaming controller, which you can use to like control the joystick of your camera. So that's all for the create over here, and you have got the option here to connect to Ronin. So you also have got the balance test. So these are all the tutorials for you to adjust and balance your gimbal on the RS4. You also have got the motor parameters over here. As you can see, same thing on the smaller screen, but here it's on the phone. So you have got the auto tuning button over here, and you have got your user profile. So this is all of the settings which you can control with the help of the Ronin app. So that's all for the Ronin app on the Android device. It's probably going to be similar on the iPhones as well. So here is the switch which will allow you to control your joystick, or if you flick that switch up, then you will be able to control your zoom function on the camera. And you have also got like different mounting things to connect additional accessories with the RS4 on this side. And on this side, if you move, you have got the power switch and your like switch for FPV, PF and PTF. And you have got the record button, your joystick and your modes button over here, which you can customize on what this button will actually do. And moving on to this side, you have got the different pins over here where you will be able to attach additional accessories on this side too. And on this side you have got your focus or zoom wheel, which you can use to control your zoom function. I think that's basically with the motor, which we'll be setting up later. And you have also got the gimbal lock button over here. So that's all for all of the buttons and settings on the DJI RS4, pretty similar to the old models. And just to show you the main feature or the main changes that came with the RS4 is the vertical shooting capability. So that's a headline feature, and previously if you had the RS3, you would basically need additional attachment just to switch to a vertical mode, but having that integrated on the new RS4 makes it so much more convenient and so much more easier whenever you are trying to switch your camera from horizontal shooting to vertical shooting. So let's see how you will be able to use that vertical shooting on the RS4. So the first thing you want to do is turn off your gimbal, so makes it really quick. So it's so much more easier to carry around, and you just want to unlock this switch. So in order to switch your camera to vertical shooting mode, you have got the switch on the back, which you will open up first. So you release it halfway and then you press the button over here, and now you can release the plate just like this. So go on the back side, you can see the slot over here and switch it like this. Press the button and slide this thing in place and lock the switch on the back. So don't forget to lock the switch. So there you go. So it's that easy to switch from horizontal shooting to vertical shooting on the RS4. So if you check the previous RS3 and how you will be able to shoot vertical shooting, you need to buy additional attachment that costs like $90 to $100, and you constantly have to switch the plate on the camera itself. So it would be a big hassle. For example, if I want to shoot like short videos and then I have to put additional attachment, I have to remove the entire like bottom plate and put a new one and then balance the gimbal again. So that would take a long time, but having this kind of feature built into the camera where it makes it so much more convenient to switch, I think that's a main feature and a welcoming feature on the new RS4. So after you do this, you again have to balance the gimbal, of course, but that makes it so much more time saver if you are a content creator and who shoots on different kinds of platform. This is gonna be a really good feature for those kind of creators. So let's see how long does it take for me to remove and change it to the horizontal shooting. So there you go. And put it in and lock it in place, and that's that easy. So that's a key feature that differentiates the RS4 from the older models. Horizontal shooting to vertical shooting without a need for additional accessories with the RS4. So I basically took everything out of here. So as you can see, that's the bottom plate that goes on the bottom, and you can use it like without the help of the focus motor if you don't need it. But if you want to use a focus motor, there is a different plate which looks something like this. So this is the screw that you have to use that comes separately. So you just screw that on the plate, and this is the handle where this rod is gonna go. That's gonna help to mount your focus motor. So let's install this and put the camera on this side. So basically it's the same plate but with the extended side for your pole. Just use a screwdriver to tighten this all the way up. So it looks something like this once it's in place. So you just want to loosen this up and then thread your pole like this. So this is basically gonna be useful for people who are using like a lens which doesn't have inbuilt like focusing motor or something. So if you have got a manual lens and you want to use your gimbal while you want to focus using your gimbal, then you can use the focus motor. But you can basically use it for anything, like if you want to change your zoom settings, like if you want to control your zoom function on your lens like this, you can use it for that as well. Or if you want to control your focus, you can do that. Now here is our focus motor. It looks something like this. I just want to remove the sticker. You have got all of the functions and your wheel over here, and that's the thread that's going to control your focusing or the zoom function. So you just want to put it inside and line it properly with the threads over here, wherever, like if you want to control your focusing, then you can move it a little bit on the other side, but that's where it's gonna go. I'll just tighten it a little bit for now and then put it back. And now you want to take your whatever you call it, like a zip or something, and then loosen it all the way up. So it comes out like this. It looks something like this. So that's gonna go on the ring or the lens, which is gonna help you to control your focusing or your zoom function. So you take it like this. So you just want to put it a little bit away so that it doesn't mess up with your focus motor. So I'll probably do it something like this. So there you go. So once the thread moves, it's gonna be moving that zoom function on the camera too. So just make sure that it's nice and tight so that it doesn't go anywhere. So that's all done. Now you want to line it up with your focus motor. So I'm just gonna loosen that up and then tighten this thing up. So there you go. So once the wheel moves, it's gonna be controlling your zoom function. So that's how you will be able to set up your focus motor, and make sure that this USB-C ports is on this side, and then you're good to go. So that's the first part you want to focus on. The next thing is gonna be using the USB-C cable to attach this on your DJI RS4. So now let's mount the camera first. So slide it in place and then lock it. And you need to balance your gimbal again after you have set up your focus motor, because it already has messed up your balancing. So I just want to release and rebalance the gimbal first. There you go, lock it in place. So we're gonna start with this side first. So it's going that way. So let's move it a little bit on the other side. So I've already shown you a tutorial on how you will be able to balance. Same thing here, but you have to do it again. So everything is balanced. Doesn't take long enough once you get hang of it. So in order to check it, just loosen everything up. And now whichever angle you want to put it in, it's gonna be properly balanced. So now let's turn our gimbal on. So next thing you want to do is connect your focus motor with the RS4. So there is like 3 ports. So I think with the new focus motor there is like 2 ports. One is in, one is out. So it goes into in port and then on the front of your gimbal. And once you have connected your gimbal, it's gonna calibrate. So it says completed calibration. So I was doing a little bit wrong, so I'm just trying to figure out which port to attach it to. So as you can see, there's like 2 ports. So you want to put that in the in point, and on this side, just let me try to show you where you want to plug it in. So there is like a Wi-Fi sign over here. So once you have done that, you want to pull from the top and you see the focus over here. And you have got the focus motor. So if you have plugged that in the right port, then you will be able to calibrate your gimbal, and now it's gonna calibrate. So there you go, and it says focus motor calibrated. I just want to show you here, it's completed. Now confirm, and now you are good to go. So now once you get into the menu, now you can choose whether you wanna choose your dial function on the back to control your focus motor or whatever you want. It was previously set to controlling the focusing. So now let's go into the settings. So you go from the bottom like this, and then you have got the dial function. It's currently on the Bluetooth cable. Now you want to choose the focus mode, and let's see if it actually works. So there you go. Now if you move the dial on the back, you will be able to control your focus. So there you go. So that's how you will be able to use your focus mode in order to control your zoom function, or if you want to choose it to control your manual lens, then you can do that. So it's a really cool function, looks really cool as well. And if you are a person who wants to get creative, like getting that shot where you are moving towards the subject and you want to gradually zoom in, then you can do that with the help of the focus mode. I don't know if I'm gonna be using it much because I don't have got a manual lens. That would be really cool to use it, because manual lens comes with a really low aperture, which helps you to get that really good bokeh on the back. So when using this focus mode with that manual lens, it would be much more effective. It's instantaneous as well. It moves so fast, and it's powered by the gimbal itself, so you don't need to attach any additional power source to control your focus mode. And also there's like one tool, I didn't know what you use this one for, but it's basically an attachment that's going to help you to support like a heavier lenses if you have got that mounted on the RS4. For example, you have got like something like a 70 to 200 and it's gonna have a lot of weight, right? So in that kind of situation, you can use this tool. And you also have got the screw, which is basically gonna go on the bottom over here, just like that, and it's gonna support your camera lens. So that's how you will be able to attach your focus motor on the DJI RS4 gimbal. Same thing is gonna go with the RS4 Pro as well if you have that, but that's the basic function. Alright, so that's all for the brand new DJI RS4 gimbal. And what are the new features and how you would be able to balance it, you have seen in the video. And it was a really long and hectic video. I do apologize for that one, but I had to make this content so that you actually know whether it's worth to get the RS4 gimbal. You have seen all of the features and what are the capabilities of the DJI RS4. So you have to ask a question for yourself. Do you actually need a gimbal? So if you are a filmmaker or who is trying to up the game, I'm new to the gimbal world as well. I am not like yet familiarized with all of the features and how to get the best with the RS4 gimbal. But if you want to up your game whenever you are shooting like b-roll and stuff, I think that's gonna be like considerable for you to get the RS4. Or if you are just starting out with the gimbal and you want to get into the gimbal world, you can also buy the gimbal from DJI, that's the Osmo, for your mobile phones. You can get used to it, like how the gimbal actually works, because it's like $150-$160, so you can learn a lot more with the help of the Osmo mobile. But if you are a person who likes to shoot with a professional camera and you want to get that really good bokeh on the back, that's not gonna be possible with the phone. It's gonna be like artificial one, not the natural one that comes from a mirrorless camera or any camera with the really low aperture. And if you want to get into the gimbal and don't want to be spending like a lot of money, you can also go with the older version. It's probably gonna be similar with like less features, such as vertical shooting is not gonna be there like that's on the RS4, where you can easily switch between different modes. It just depends upon you. I wouldn't force you to go and buy the RS4, but if you want to get into the gimbal world, as I said already, you can try the Osmo, and once you get hang of the Osmo, you can go and up your game with the RS4. So that's all for today's content, and I do apologize again for making this content really long. And there's more content to come on the DJI gimbal, because I have got the Raven Eye from DJI as well, which will make your gimbal shooting a lot more better without having to get like additional monitors or anything. There's also a tracking feature that's that's gonna be enabled if you have got the Raven Eye. So this is the must-have accessory for your DJI RS4. So I'll leave this for the next video because this video is already too long, but let me know what you guys think about the new gimbal from DJI. Would you be willing to invest $1,000 on a gimbal? Let me know in the comments below. And it took a lot of effort and time to make this content for you guys. So if you appreciate my content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would mean a lot and encourage me to keep making these kinds of videos for you guys. And I guess that's it for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed the content, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm Ashish from AZ Technofreak, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, have a good one and peace out.